This is Getting Started with Agents, and today we're going to work on 3 different things. They're all related, I promise. We're going to get GitHub set up so we can learn how to save our work and not lose it, and we're going to push it to repositories. We're going to work on a personal kind of link in bio type site so you can link all of the projects you've been working on in this course. And lastly, I'm going to show you guys how to push it and make it public. We're going to use GitHub Pages. We might talk a little bit about Cloudflare Pages. I think since we're pushing it to GitHub, GitHub Pages is a good home for this. So let's get started. So I'm going to open Warp, and Warp is my preferred terminal. If you have Ghosty, if you want to use the installed terminal on Mac, that is fine. I am in the home directory, and I'm going to cd change directory into developer and see what's in there. I'm going to make a new directory, mkdir, and I'm going to call this Solomon Bio. cd Solomon Bio. If I can spell it, I should just hit the side arrow.
I can use ChatGPT to answer that.
My phone is talking at me. All right, so we're in this new directory. There's nothing in here. We're going to use Claude. So Claude, dangerously skip permissions. We haven't really talked about dangerously skip permissions. It's probably something we should discuss real quick. Basically, it means that Claude's not going to ask you to make changes. And I typically have found that it doesn't try and go outside of your folder. If it does, you'll know, like a lot of times it'll be like Warp wants to look at Apple Photos or Apple Music. It will start going through things. And typically the only time I've seen it do that is when it is looking for something because you haven't been very specific. And a lot of times I'll just deny it and realize I need to be more specific about telling it what to do. And honestly, I really haven't had any issues. There is a new mode called Auto that Claude does. It's more expensive. It uses more tokens. So personally, I don't do it. But Auto basically tries to prevent it from doing dangerous things. There is one thing. We haven't really built anything that's database backed yet. When we get to working with databases, we're going to need to put in Claude MD or Agent MD if we're using Codex, essentially to never drop a table, to never drop a database, because that's not something you can roll back with Git, which we're going to learn today. And so that the agent needs to be explicit no matter what and have a conversation if it's trying to drop a table. But we don't need to worry about that. We're not building any database-backed apps right now. Today, we're going to do another fun, hopefully small static site. But first, let's get started with Git. And so I was trying to think about how to go about doing this. Git, you might have heard of GitHub. GitHub, well, I'm logged in, so you're going to see all of my stuff. But basically, GitHub is a place for you to store code. If you have public code, you can make it available to everybody. And this is where we're going to keep our site. And you don't need to know a ton. There's a few commands that are really important that we'll go over in the middle of this. But you can see here are all of the repositories. So this is like my personal site. This is that to-do tutorial we did. There's just some stuff in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to get GitHub set up. So if you're new, there'll be a sign up button in the GitHub account thing, and we're going to create a GitHub account. And as far as doing this, we need to set up the GitHub CLI and a few things. You can use the GitHub desktop app, but honestly, working with agents, it's just easier if they can use the CLI. I don't know, since I already have GitHub set up, if it's going to let me do this, but I'm going to ask it. Let's see. Oh, I need to start Mac Whisper so I can talk to it. What do I need to do to get GitHub set up on this computer? Okay, perfect. GitHub isn't, that's fine. All right. Well, can you humor me? What are the things I need to install GitHub? I need to install the GitHub CLI. This is a Mac, so I already have Git installed. Is there anything else other than the GitHub CLI once I have an account? All right. Git identity. Okay, so you need your email address and an SSH key. You need Homebrew. We installed that before. GitHub Desktop. Again, I think what we're going to do, you're going to see me interact with the agents here. Or the CLI through the agents. So I don't think we're going to need GitHub Desktop, but if you want to do that, it is a nice visual thing to do. Okay. And we already have Homebrew. I think you do need to install GitHub through Homebrew, which is what it wants me to do next. Okay. Clear. We're going to start new. All right. So now I'm going to assume you have GitHub installed and it's working. And the nice thing about working with agents is if you're having problems, you can just ask the agent what to do. I feel very confident that Claude is going to help you be able to get set up with GitHub. Also, the great thing, GitHub is free. If you make this repository public, hosting it is free. So if the repository is public, you can have a website that everyone can get to through your URL. But I want to talk a little bit about this project. So I've got a personal site that has 15 years of articles and projects and photos and interviews and stuff like that I just redid. But I was thinking, I have another domain and maybe I want a link in bio type thing that just has maybe my name, what I do, a sentence or two, link to a couple of these projects that we've worked on, and maybe links to social media type stuff. I mean, that's what the link in bio type thing is. Should be a fairly simple project. I have an idea. My personal site is pretty minimal. I do use like these I love IBM Plex. Everything in the IBM Plex series, both the Plex Sans and Plex Mono are two of my favorite typefaces. And kind of throughout here, I've used IBM Plex Mono, so I'm thinking maybe I'm going to use that more heavily here. And it's just going to be a very simple typographical link in bio type site. It needs to be responsive. It needs to work on mobile. Maybe there's something cool we can do with the background. We'll see what happens with time here because I don't want this to go on too long. But that's kind of what we're looking for. So I'm going to go back to Claude and we're going to go into planning mode. And I should have maybe just recorded that because that's when I want to tell what we want to do. All right, I'd like to put together a plan for a very simple link in bio type site. It should have my name. It should have a little blurb about me. I'd like to be able to host a couple of other projects that I've already worked on here. I'd like to be able to have links to my social media presence. Largely, I'm thinking this will be a very minimal typographic site. I'd like to use IBM Plex Mono. I'd like this to largely be a monochrome site to match my personal site, Solomon.io. Help me brainstorm and answer some other of these questions I need to have answered. And I want to put my personal site in here. You may not have one already, and that's okay. I was thinking I was going to put my personal site in here so it has something to reference. It already has like a visual style maybe it's thinking of. I should have also said I have a logo for my personal site, but that probably should go in here. I mean, I am thinking left align, either maybe my photo goes up there instead of the logo, but photo, logo, a little blurb about me, probably one or two sentences, a link to a couple of these projects. The cool thing is we're going to host these projects with the site. And let's see, what else? And links to social media. And you can adjust this however you want. I was just thinking it'd be a cool thing to be able to show off what we've built and future things. All right, here we go. It's already, I love the AC artwork that it does, like these almost like wireframe mock-ups. It's honestly like one of my favorite things with these LLMs. Left rail, top aligned column, Not two column split. I want it left aligned. Let's do terminal field. I think that's the only difference between that and the top aligned column. I hope this doesn't mean it's coming from the bottom, but let's see. Project style, title, one line description. I think just minimal. Yep. So some of the options here. If you're going to build a full-fledged blog, like my personal site, is built on Astro. And it's a really good, it's a really good, like really fast, like static site generator. You if you want to do something more advanced here and want more than just really just like a single page link and bio thing, that's fine. I would suggest using Astro. Like I've got blog posts dating back to like 2009 or something. Yeah, 2009. So there's a lot of content here. If you're just doing a simple link and bio site like this, I'd recommend just doing an HTML file. Otherwise, if you want to do something bigger, Astra is a great choice. So, but we're going to do a single HTML file, and we're going to host. So, Cloudflare Pages, again, if you're going to build something that's a little bit more robust, I host a lot of stuff on Cloudflare. My personal site is on Cloudflare. I have other projects on Cloudflare. There's a lot of options there. There's a lot more configuration. I would recommend Cloudflare a lot, but it's going to take a little bit more involvement. Again, though, if you've made it this far and you're starting to work with the agents, you're kind of over, I hope you're kind of over that first plateau where now you can work with the agents a little bit to figure out what you need to be able to do to get set up with Cloudflare. But for this, we're going to walk through, we're going to do GitHub Pages, and you already have a GitHub account because that's we're going to use Git to save and that's actually, let's talk about that. So there's really two pieces here. Let's see. We're going to do Twitter, LinkedIn, GitHub. Yeah, we'll just use placeholders for now. Oh, no, there's like 1,000 projects on my site. Sure, draft some options for me. I do have the advantage of already having a lot of this written. So, and we're just going to use, if you want to host, if you have a domain you want to use, that's perfect. You'll point that domain to GitHub, and in the GitHub Pages setup, you'll see there's places to do that. For right now, I'll point that out, but for now, we're just going to use the default GitHub domain. All right, so Git. Git is basically version control. It's a way, like if you imagine everything we're doing or everything Claude is doing here is essentially creating a document, and that's all code is, or it's a collection of documents that tell the computer to do things. And if a change is made, it's useful to keep track of those changes, and you can kind of think of Git as kind of like a ledger for how those things change over time. And what we're going to do basically to save is we're going to tell the agent to commit our work. Well, let's see what it's looking like here. Single link in bio site, monochrome, content first, understated, typographically heavier. I don't know if that's necessarily heavier. Terminal field, no readme. All right, I'm going to tell it to go while I'm talking here. So when we want the agent to save its work, we're just going to tell it to commit it. Now, before the days of agents, you would want to commit it with some sort of message saying what the work was that changed. In the day of agents, we don't really need to do that because the agent will basically look at the work it's done and write a commit message on your behalf. And actually, if you do a lot of work and forget to save, one thing that's also nice that the agent can do is it can go back and look at all of that work and say, actually, here are maybe 2 or 3 different chunks of commits that we should split up and make separately. And honestly, that's a really, really nice thing. So that's committing. Imagine you're playing a video game, you've gotten really far, you're about to play the hard boss or whatever, it's really beneficial to save there just in case you die. So you go back to that point and not somewhere else. The other one is push. And so basically, push is you've made all of these changes, but these files are on your computer. If something happens to your computer, if something happens to this computer, I'm out of luck. But we made this GitHub account, and GitHub is basically an online repository. So if I have another computer, if I'm on my phone or something else, I can, well, you can look at it on there. You're probably not doing actually too much coding on your phone, but if you've got this on GitHub, you can go to another computer and pull it down. It's basically safe. It will always be available to you. It's reducing the risk. So commit, save it. We're going to save it to our computer. Push basically saying, okay, now I want to push these changes, these several commits usually, to GitHub. So if something happens locally, I still have it's not wasted time. That's really what we're going to do here. And I think there's an undo function. Yeah, rewind, undo. Agents do have that. I found it doesn't work unless you have. If you're not, if you do that, a lot of times what it does is go back to the previous commit. Like in the last project when we were building that to-do list, if I hit undo, unless it was a really simple change, there's a good chance that it really didn't go back and undo everything. So committing is important. It's really helpful. Again, think of it as saving. All right, that's what you need to know. All right, it's created some files. It's created a full site. That's great. I guess we're going to look at it. One other Git command that's important is git init. And it's basically saying initialize a Git repository. Turn this into a Git repository. And usually after some code has been written, that's what you'll want to do. And honestly, I could have probably said commit, and the agent would have realized that I needed to actually make a commit, but say, yep, repo initialized on main, both files are untracked. Would you like me to make the initial commit? And so that's what I'm going to say, commit it. And again, is that this is the agent saving it. We want to do that whenever we kind of make a big change. And it's basically telling me, it's telling me I can create the Solomon bio repo on GitHub. The agent can actually create it itself. The only thing we need to tell it is if we want it to be public or private. We'll want this to be public in this scenario because GitHub Pages is free. If you make your repo public, also, it's just a couple links. Hopefully, there's not anything super proprietary here. All right. Can you open this project in Chrome DevTools? Let's see. Hopefully, we're going to get another Chrome browser here in a second. Boom. An engineer working at the intersection of biology and software. That's not quite me, but it's interesting. I like the simple typography. Project 1, Project 2, Project 3, elsewhere. It's pretty simple. I think visually, let's see if also something that may be good to do now. Okay, good. It does work with light and dark mode. I think visually, one thing I'd like to do is I almost wonder if I want to make this like a markdown file almost, where you're using hashtags for headings and stuff. And it also makes me wonder, do I want to, everything is essentially the same size. I don't think it needs to be that way. It's done that because it's terminal. I think we can make it a little less terminally. We're using a monospace typeface. All right. A couple things. I know that we're making this monospace because we went for the terminal feel. No, that's not right. I know that we're including the chevrons and keeping everything the same size because we're going for a terminal feel. I think I'd like some variation in text size. Specifically, I'd like to emphasize my name a little bit. Also, let's remove the horizontal rule below my name. And let's use sentence case here instead of keeping everything lowercase. And let's see, what is on my... I've changed this a bunch of times. I think maybe like just this piece, product design lead and founder. I like the label elsewhere. Actually, that's, I think, on my previous site what I used to do this. Okay, now this is looking a little bit better. Can we get rid of the right chevrons or carets for projects and elsewhere and left align those? I almost want to do like all caps for these. I don't know if that's going to be too much. Having these indented without a bullet, I don't know if I like that or not. Keep the links flush. It should be make, not keep. It's late in the day, struggling a little bit. And I'm trying to think what else. We're going to actually insert a couple of projects here. You can point to it in your dev folder. Do I have? I think I have some of these in the dev folder. Flow field, particle smiley, and to do. Okay. All right. So everything's left aligned. Again, this is a point we've made some progress. I'm going to commit this. And this is, again, we're saving our work. Really not a ton has been done, but something we want to get in the habit of doing. All right, I'd like you under projects to add some projects from the developers folder. That's the parent folder of this one, the to-do app, the flow field, and the particle smiley. Can you do that? And so I've told it we're in /developer/Solomon bio. I've asked it to go look in developer and go look for to do and particle smiley and what's the other one we did, the flow field app, and it's going to put those in this project. And we're going to host those with this site. We're going to probably have to add some sort of like back button type thing so people can come back here if they want. And I'm imagining maybe we should plan this. Well, it's going ahead and doing it. I think maybe we should create a plan because now as I'm talking about this out loud, that was more than a just go do this thing. And maybe while it's going to go through this, I think maybe we should plan this better because I'd like these projects to be published with the site. And I'm thinking we should maybe put these in an iframe, but hosted in the same repository. Oh, okay, wait, maybe it's going to ask me questions about this. Plan creating GitHub Pages, repo pushing and turning on pages. We're going to deploy to GitHub Pages. Maybe we should plan this out a little bit more. I'd like the selected projects to be copied and become part of this repo. And then I think we'll need to amend them to put like a back button in the top left corner of all of them so that we have a way to get back to this project. No, to this website. Man, sorry, I am struggling. Well, that guy's working. I'm just going to start up another agent and ask it to see. I want to see what it looks like with the text all caps. Can we look and see what this looks like when we keep the text all caps? I'm thinking it could be maybe we just keep the headers. I think I like that better. Although that makes me want to bring back the hashtags and stuff. Can we use an asterisk for bullets for the projects and elsewhere items? I like monospace like characters. All right, let's see. Does this, what's happening here? I don't really know what was happening there, but let's start that again. Oh, and it closed the site. I think I need the other agent to open it. Muted bullet. I think that's good. I was trying to see, sometimes you can ask questions of the agent while it's working, and I was wondering if it was going to be able to actually open Chrome DevTools, but it can't. So that's a bummer. But if you do just have a question that you just would like to know the answer to, maybe it can. Okay. And again, we're managing lots of Chrome windows down here. You know what? For that project, we're going to have to treat it a little bit differently. We're going to maybe have to do, but we removed the header. We may have to bring the header back. Oh, it looks like it took a screenshot and actually noticed that for us, so that's cool. Boom. Good job, Claude. It's a very astute observation. Oh, and a particle smiley. It's cool. We should do more artwork like this one. This one was a fun one. Interactive things. All right. The back button. All right. So there's a little bit of a challenge here. And I'm going to paste that URL. Did it go in? This is what I'm seeing. I would expect it to take me back to the index.html page, not back to this view. This is the raw like parent directory. Like I would want it to take me back here. This is actually a good thing to know. Everything we're doing, again, remember Git is just files. All of these things are just files on this computer right now, and we're telling it these files and folders technically with code in it. We're going to send it up to GitHub. That's also another reason I wanted you all to get used to using CLIs and terminals in the command line, because it helps draw you closer to that. Because I mean, for me, before I started programming, I thought that code was just magic. It's not. A lot of this stuff are just words on a document on a computer. The cloud is just a really big computer, hosted in a a warehouse somewhere. That's all it is. Okay. Oh, never finished adding them. The bio project link shows the directory instead of the project. Okay, once deployed to GitHub Preview, it will work as expected. Okay. We have it in, oh, it's not on the server. Yeah, start the server again. This is just showing it locally. So now flow field is our flow field with swirls. It's a good one. And back, boom. Okay, so that works as expected. And so I am going to commit. Oh, again, a lot of times I need to just copy this over. A lot of times I will do that. It will be trying to screenshot something, and I'll be playing with things that it messes the screenshot up. It thinks that it did something wrong. So yeah, it thinks the screenshot was stale. Might be Claude. And do these actually link? That just links to github.com. Oh, okay. So if you go to GitHub, this is how you'll sign up. I was logged in, but that's how you'll sign up. So we do need to do this Twitter. Oh, Twitter is just X now. That's going to look kind of funny. Maybe I'll leave that as Twitter. I think on my personal site, I actually do have it as X. Yeah. Navigate to project to test the back button. Boom. It works. Commit. I think I'm just going to tell it to grab the links from my personal site and drop it in here as elsewhere. I like the asterisks. That's a good touch. I don't think this got committed. Or maybe it got committed with some of the other stuff. Yeah, it may tell me nothing to commit, working trees clean. All right. Will you go grab the links from my personal site and add them as it to the bottom under elsewhere? Now you could just point it or tell it your personal links. I've already done that, so I'm just going to have it go out and grab them, because that's what agents are good for. They go out and they can do things on the computer on your behalf. Trying to think what else. Oh, we need to work on the title. I think I'm just going to copy this middle line. I don't know where it got the biology bit. What does it say? Working at the intersection of biology and software. don't know where it got that from, but that's kind of funny. All right. Boom. Yeah, X looks kind of funny there, doesn't it? Should we put it at the bottom? Will you put X at the bottom and maybe remove email? All right, refresh. I don't know if that's any better. I don't have another solution other than calling it Twitter, which maybe is actually the right thing. I don't know. I know some people don't want to let that go, but anyways, let's commit this. And I'm going to tell it to update the copy under my name. Will you update the copy under my name to this? I'm just going to paste it. Trying to think. So it has light dark mode. We could take some time and maybe do something fun. I don't know if there's some like ACS2 art or some sort of Easter egg that we can do. Let's see. Actually, maybe we should tell it to push to GitHub because we haven't created the project. All right. I wonder. Well, can we do a better job of handling the line breaks? Um, Ideally, product design lead at SalesLoft, and then on the next line, co-founded side prize. Like now that I'm looking at that, maybe I do just want it to be like things I did. There we go. And the 100,000 other things I've done, but those are probably the most relevant for this. That's how good is it going to bump the max width? Claude, you're on fire with your design decisions here. Usually I have to point those things out. Let's see how it does. While it's doing that, I'm just going to talk out loud. Like I'm thinking the whole site is using this monospace typeface. Agents can do things like we saw the like wireframes it's done. It can do the like, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, AC artwork pretty easily. I'm almost wondering if there's like a subtle background thing we can do. I don't know if it's with the mouse. I don't know if there's a little bit of just like subtle movement. Um, if this was, we can have a little bit more fun because software products, a lot of times you can't do that as much because you're focused on doing something very specific. What is the goal here for this? I don't know. It's a link in bio type site. So I know it pointed out that the line wrap needed to be bumped, but it's thinking really, really hard about the solution here. Honestly, you can just remove previously. Would it help if you removed previously and just put co-founded side prize, now prize picks? I think it's trying to figure out, is that a good thing? Can it have this much difference in space here? Like, how do we keep them together? It's a guess. All right. Boom. Claude, you're killing it today. All right, so we want to commit this. Let's commit this, and can we create a public repository on GitHub? So public is important because we're going to need, if we're going to make this public, we're going to need this to be a public repository. Otherwise, you can keep it private, but you have to pay for GitHub Pages. Then this keeps everything free. And that is included if you want to point, your domain at it. Eventually, whatever this becomes, I own samsolomon.com. That's what I'm going to use it for. So I'm going to point a domain to that. Um, I'm trying to think what else. Okay, it's able to do that. All right, so Solomon bio is here, probably since it's public. Oh, can it actually do enable pages for me? That's cool. We should still look at where to do it, but maybe you can just tell Claude to turn it on. Um, Crap, what was I just saying? Oh, can we write just a very short, very minimal README since this is a public facing site? What do you suggest we put in here? So since we're here, I'm just going to show you, we're going to go to settings. So I'm going to go back. These are all my projects. This is my username in GitHub. This is my beautiful face, repositories, and then you shouldn't have a ton. Solomon Bio is the name of this link in bio site. And when it's done suggesting a README stuff, let's see. Right as is fine. But there'll basically be some markdown text here. But to turn it on for GitHub Pages, we're going to go to settings. And this is all the settings for your site. I'm going to go to pages. And then we're going to want to deploy it from a branch. And then basically, we shouldn't have any other branches. We haven't really talked about branching yet because we haven't worked on big projects and it's just us. On my personal projects, I don't really create branches. That may be on me. If you're working with other people, it's something you'll absolutely want to do. That's a discussion for a future video, but it would just be deploying from main. I'm going to see if Claude can help us deploy this because this is getting started with agents. Okay, commit and push, and hopefully we will be able to see this in the public repository. Yep, just a very simple README. That's fine. I want to get back to, so we have, let's see, we have our name, we have a little bit about us, we have the links to our projects, and they're actually working. I can pick this up and move it around and go back, and we've got our flow field with our little swirlies, rainbow, and then we've got our exploding smiley face. That'll never not be fun. And we got links to YouTube, Instagram. It looks like it has them wired up. Yep, that's me. Cool. All right. The last thing I want to do here is I just want to brainstorm, some interesting things that we can do here. And so once again, just like we did with the flow field and all these other art projects, we're going to make this a little bit artistic. I'd like to come up with some sort of almost like Easter egg ACS2 type art that we can put in here. I'd like it to use IBM Flex Mono. I'd like it to not overpower the site, but be interesting. I'd like there to be motion or maybe some sort of interactivity. Can you help give me some ideas about some of the things we could do? I'm thinking there's maybe like a subtle pattern that moves or I don't know, is there a character or I don't know, the table flip guy? That actually would be pretty funny to have a little table flip guy in the bottom somewhere, but I don't know. We're going to try and do something real quick, but the point is, make the site yours. Do something that's interesting. Again, a lot of things that would have taken a really long time, you can do really quick with agents. Agents are also great for helping you iterate on ideas. Um, let's see, cursor trail of glyphs. That's the scramble. The name isn't great. No. Oh, ambient flow field. Yes. So the site is basically top left aligned. So it'd be pretty cool to have like a monochrome ambient flow field in the bottom right. I still like my table flip guy. Maybe I'm going to add him in there somewhere. Well, so that will be a neat discovery. Claude seems to think it's able through the GitHub CLI to push pages public, which means, again, you connect to the GitHub CLI to be able to commit things and have the agent commit things. It means that you can tell it to push your site publicly whenever. A little bit about pushing. So if go back to GitHub and go to settings and then to pages, every time you push to your main branch, it will basically make the site public. So that's something to just be aware of. All right, let's see what it came up with here. Wow, this is a lot. Content first, small, almost Easter egg piece. Someone lands on the site, reads the bio, and then notice the quiet thing moving at the bottom. That's exactly the feel I'm going for. I think I need to tell it about placement. We can always look at this. I'm going to tell Claude. For placement, I'm imagining the site is top left aligned. It basically, I think we should put this in the bottom right. I'm not going to be specific about that exact positioning, and it maybe should change based on the width of the browser, but ideally, it is most prominent in the bottom right. Update the plan based on that assessment. And I don't think there's any interactivity. Oh, all right. Well, let's see what this interactivity looks like. This may be a bit much, but we're 50 minutes into this, depending on how much I decide to trim for Claude. But I feel like I've been talking a lot, so we'll probably not trim too much. So whatever it comes up with here is probably what we'll go with for the time being. But we'll do that, and then I think we're just going to tell Claude to push it to GitHub Pages, and that'll be it. All right. Let's see. It's weird. I don't really know that I see the ripple. It's almost a little distracting, but there, there it is. I'm probably going to keep working on this, but we are going to call it for right now, just because I want to show you guys how to set up GitHub Pages here. So we'll see commit and push. It's updated. One thing you'll notice every time we go to GitHub and go to the project, it will tell you basically the ambient Easter egg here. That's what it's been working on. And yeah, let's tell it to enable GitHub Pages. And I am very curious about this because one of the things, default branch main. Oh, wait. And then the custom domain. Dang. It's already here. So now if we go to, wait, oh, it takes 30 to 60 seconds. But so this is every time you push, as long as you're still on main, it will update the site, presumably in 30 seconds to a couple minutes. And remember, we're in project and settings. And basically, this is where we'll set up the domain. I don't know if it can help. I mean, honestly, you can ask the agent anything. It'll be able to help you do that. But you will need to go buy it from Namecheap or another domain registrar like that and basically point it to GitHub. Let's see. Boom. All right, guys. So that was a lot simpler than I thought, but now you know how to deploy your site to GitHub Pages. You've got all of your projects that we've worked on here, and hopefully projects you've worked on your own, and maybe future projects that we'll work on together. But yeah, there's your link in bio site. Thanks for watching.